Good call.
What do you mean, deputy dog?
Okay, I'll call this meeting to order, 7 PM. Adoption of agenda. Any additions, changes, corrections?
No, there is no corrections.
We're good?
Good.
Can I have a motion to adopt agenda? Counselor Schultz. Seconder. Counselor Cutler. All those in favor? Passed. Regular minutes, of January 14th, 2019. Counselor Zimmer.
The regular minutes for December 10th of 2018,
Oh, sorry. Yes.
Deputy Mayor Schlossberger, are excellent. So I make a motion that we accept the agenda as presented, the regular meetings minutes.
Seconder. Counselor Schultz. All those in favor? Item 1, bylaw 1660, ATV operational borrowing bylaw. Marion, just a quick refresh on that, please.
For sure, so before you was two bylaws, bylaw 1660 and bylaw 1661. Bylaw 1660 is for the revolving line of credit that we have with ETB, and we pass that bylaw annually, and it's simply there as, on an as-need basis. Bylaw 1661 is the AMSC operational borrowing bylaw. And again, it is for our credit cards to a total of $50,000 maximum. And those are distributed as per our policy. Neither of these bylaws require public hearing or advertising because of the period of time that they're in place. We're looking for second and third reading on those bylaws tonight.
Can I have a motion for second reading?
I'll make that motion.
Counselor Carlson, second. Counselor Cutler. All those in favor? Passed. Motion for third reading.
I'll make a motion to accept bylaw 1660.
Second. Counselor Zimmer, sorry. Second, Counselor Schultz. All those in favor? Passed. Bylaw 1661. Motion for second reading on bylaw 1661.
I'd like to make that motion.
Counselor Moore.
Second.
No
Counsel-
requirement for seconds.
Okay.
Ever.
All those in favor? Passed. Correspondence. Third reading, sorry. Motion for third reading is 1661. Counselor Schultz. All those in favor? Passed. Correspondence. Honorable Shay Anderson, Minister of Municipal Affairs, Minister's Award for Municipal Excellence. Little background, Marion? Or?
This is an annual award system that's put out by Municipal Affairs, so there's 5 categories that we potentially would qualify for: innovation, partnership, safe communities, smaller municipalities that recognizes innovative practices, and then outstanding achievements. So it's just there for information for council, unless you would like us to nominate the town of Claresholm for one of those awards.
Nominations?
It's a yearly thing, yes?
It's
we
an
could
annual, it's an
Yeah.
annual thing.
Work towards.
I just, what's that?
Work towards it.
Well, I mean, I just think that, I don't know if this is a group thing, right? This is you nominate the town of Claresholm for their promotion of, I think the town of Clarisholm does a lot within that safe communities with Jason and his safe stuff at the school and all those kinds of things. I don't know if that's something that could be recognized of all his hard work and Clarisholm's hard work of collaboration of the community.
I
I'm
vote
very,
yes on that.
I'm very proud of what he does and what it does for the high school and for the elementary school, and I think it's one of those things that could be recognized.
Yeah,
Discussion? Agree?
yeah, I agree. I think it's a great
Good
idea.
point. Can we nominate, how do we nominate? Jason or?
Just give direction, for us to submit the nomination
Okay.
for that program.
We ask that administration submit the nomination. Correspondence, Office of Lieutenant Governor, Alberta Order of Excellence. Marion?
So the Alberta Order of Excellence is an honor that's bestowed upon Albertans who are Canadian citizens, live in Alberta, and have made a significant contribution to either provincially, nationally, or internationally. So again, that's there for information in case there was someone that you chose to nominate for that
Right.
award.
We got Levi Simpson again, isn't he? World champ something?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that my mom received this or something similar in BC, and it's, I would say, my understanding is it's contribution to community,
Yeah.
right? So it's often volunteering, or I think that's sort of the route.
Can do to make a difference in the strength of our communities and quality of life enjoyed by Albertans.
Yeah.
And they'd have to live here now, right? That's
I
the
don't know
idea
that
in
that-
Clarisholm?
In Alberta.
Interesting.
In Alberta.
Mhm.
Take it for information.
Yeah.
Take it for information. Correspondence, Canadian Senior Pro Rodeo Association request for sponsorship. Have we sponsored this before in the past?
Yeah.
3 years?
Yes, we've
Maybe
sponsored
6
them
years.
since 2013.
Thanks.
$500.
Yeah.
So it's an event that's held here in Clarisholm and brings a lot of people into the community. It's a great weekend
It
for
is.
the community.
Yeah. 13, thank you. So we just need to make a motion?
Yeah.
Motion to accept $500 as a donation. Councillor Schultz, all those in favor?
Call the question.
Oh.
To repeat.
Motion, please.
Moved by Councillor Schultz to support the Canadian Senior Pro Rodeo Association's rodeo finals in Clarisholm, October 17th to 20th, 2019, with sponsorship of $500.
All those in favor? Correspondence, Midget D Provincial Hockey Tournament, request for donation. Marion?
So Fort McLeod Minor Hockey is hosting the Midget D Provincials on March 21st to 24th. They have asked, we do have 4 community members who are playing on that team. They've asked us to keep the ice in for that additional week in the hopes that they would be able to host some games here. And they just got the schedule out. They intend to have 4 games played here in Clarisholm for that tournament. So we have agreed to leave the ice in until that Sunday when that tournament's over. And they are asking if council would consider donation of the ice time for those 4 games. The rate on the ice is $66.15 per hour, and a game takes approximately 2.5 hours.
And is that something that, is that standard practice, giving ice time to tournaments?
Not necessarily standard practice for tournaments, but this is provincials. So it's bringing in, players from all over Alberta
Okay.
at that level, right? So,
Yeah.
So Fort McLeod is hosting it, but they're also using 2 of our hotels here in town for hockey teams and stuff, and they're bringing some local
And then we got four
players.
of our youth that play on Fort McLeod's team, so it'd be kind of cool to play on home.
Yeah.
You know, if you didn't wanna donate the ice time, you could consider another level of donation as well. They're just looking for
No,
support.
I was just
to be
curious
able
about
to host the tournament.
if it's gonna open the door to every time there's a hockey tournament, that they might consider asking for ice time, and
Right.
that doesn't make sense to me, but I appreciate the clarity.
With the provincials, I don't know exactly how that works, but I don't believe they pay, like a tournament fee. You have to make provincials.
That's right, yeah,
So it's not like a standard tournament.
yeah, okay, thank you.
I'd be willing to make a motion to donate ice time for that weekend.
Councillor Carlson.
It's 4 games at about 150, $600. It's a good number.
No, about
It'll be just
About
under,
200 bucks.
just under
It's-
$600.
yeah, $595.35.
It's a great donation.
And basically, you're not out.
Right.
Motion, please.
Moved by Councillor Carlson to support the Midget D Provincial Hockey Tournament being hosted by Fort McLeod Minor Hockey by waiving ice fees for the 4 games to be held at the Claresholm Arena March 21st to 24th, 2019, to a maximum value of $600.
Discussion?
I'm just wondering if it's gonna open the door to other people wanting, because it's gonna be open in an extended period of time, if they're gonna come and say, can we use the ice, because it's still open.
The potential is there, they can come and request for a provincial level tournament as a donation.
That part I get, yeah.
I think we're okay with it, but it does, they can come in and
Staff
make a
is there.
request if they need to make a request.
Sorry. Marion wants something.
Just to answer your question, we have informed minor hockey that we will have the ice in during that time, and we'll block off for this provincial tournament, but there is opportunity for other organizations to use the ice,
Yeah.
and at that time of year when it's coming out to provincials, ice is hard to find, and there's teams who still need practice time, so there may be other uses during that week. We're hoping actually there would be additional use, not just the 4 games.
Excellent, okay, thanks, Marion.
All those in favor? Motion passed. Correspondence, Terry Mahoney, resignation from the Library Board and Museum Board. We'd just like to thank Terry for his volunteerism.
Yeah, thank you, Terry.
I thought it might be appropriate that we send him a letter saying thank you.
Sure.
Sound good?
Yep.
Could we send Terry a letter thanking him for his volunteerism? Thank you. Request for decision on policy manual review. Marion.
Okay, so we're doing a comprehensive review and update of our policy manual. And so there's a number of items before you tonight. We have discussed this in detail with the Administrative Services Committee, and they're recommending that council approve what I will present tonight. So the first section is, we're looking at a new table of contents. So we want to renumber the entire policy manual so that there's a different flow of how those policies are set out. And so the first section we've looked at is under 1.0, which would be human resources. So there's 3 policies that we're proposing are rescinded for a couple of reasons. So the policy GA 0687, council procedures, and GA 1004, council remuneration. both of those are by way of bylaw, and so a bylaw, there's no requirement for a policy when you have a bylaw in place, because the bylaw would supersede any policy. So the bylaw would remain in place, we're just recommending those policies be rescinded. And then also GAO 491, management organizations, so by resolution of council, you would adopt the organizational structure. So again, there's no requirement for a policy, it's just the structure is adopted by council. Then we have two policies in there that we're proposing be updated. One is GAO 216, the fair hiring policy, so we have simply, this is a fairly new policy, but we've named it, I guess, simplified the name, just hiring policy. And there's some new formatting, but essentially the policy just remains unchanged except for the policy number on that. And then the GAO 15, which is a payroll administration policy, that is primarily unchanged, except we have removed the final clause of the old policy that was under administration. And that read, this document was created on August 19th, 2015 and is to be used as the payroll administration policy for the town of Claresholm. So we've removed that from the new policy. Then we have three new policies that we're presenting. First is policy 1.0.05, performance management policy. Administration, we believe that this is a crucial aspect of building a good organization, is to have ongoing performance management. So it's been the practice of the town to do annual performance evaluations with follow-up mid-year with each of the employees. And so we're just asking that that be formalized by way of policy under our HR policies. The policy itself, as is laid out, actually addresses our current practice. And the next is policy 1.0.10, which is recognition and long service pay. So the QP agreement provides for long service pay. It's additional compensation, and after so many years of service with the town. And so it's been practice as well to recognize the non-QP members in the same way, but there's never been a formal policy in place, so we're asking that that policy also be considered. The last policy we're recommending is policy 1.0.20, which is a record checks policy. So generally we complete record checks on new hires, depending on the level of the employment and what may or may not be required. For instance, if it's a finance position, we may require a different level of check than we would if it was a front desk clerk or something, right? Right. And so again, it's been our practice, but hasn't been consistent in some ways, and we feel that there's a need for the policy so that practice is adhered to across the organization appropriately. You may have employees who may be working with children or others that should have checks done as well. So again, we feel that it's just a good practice to have in the organization. So all of that has been, like I said, discussed at the Administrative Services Committee. And so we're recommending, and the committee is recommending, that there be three motions. First, to approve the renumbering. Second would be to rescind the three policies that I outlined. And then finally would be recommendation of passing of the two amended policies and the three new policies.
Motion to adopt the renumbering of town policies effective.
Make that motion.
Councillor Cutler makes that motion. Motion, please.
Moved by Councillor Cutler to adopt the renumbering of all town policies effective January 21st, 2019 as presented.
All those in favor?
That actually actually should say the 28th, sorry, the Admin Services Committee was the
Okay,
21st,
so
so
I'm
it
just-
should say the 28th.
28th.
The 28th, because I'm thinking it should be today's date.
Motion to rescind policies GA 0687, council procedures, policy GA 0491, and management organization policy GA 1004, council remuneration policy. Motion, please.
I can make that motion, Brent.
Councillor Moore. Motion, please.
Moved by Councillor Moore to rescind policies GA 0687, council procedures policy, GA 0491, management organization policy, and GA 1004, council remuneration policy.
All those in favor? A motion to adopt policy 1.0.01, hiring policy, policy 1.0.05, performance management policy, policy 1.0.10, recognition of long service pay policy, policy 1.0.20, record checks policy, and policy 1.0.4, payroll administration policy, effective January 28th as presented.
I'll make that motion to adopt those policies as listed out with the date change.
Councillor Zimmer.
If it's needed, I could.
Motion, please.
Moved by Councillor Zimmer to adopt policy 1.0.01, hiring policy, policy 1.0.05, performance management policy, policy 1.0.10, recognition of long service pay policy, policy 1.0.20, record checks policy, and policy 1.0.40, payroll administration policy, effective January 28th, 2019, as presented.
All those in favor? Passed.
That was all in one breath.
Request for decision, Economic Development Committee 3-year business plan. Marion?
Okay, on October 10th of 2018, the Economic Development Committee underwent a strategic planning process, and the purpose was to create an economic development strategic plan, 3-year business plan that would align with Council's 3-year strategic plan as well. And if you recall, in your strategic plan, there was a number of very specific items that Council wanted the Economic Development Committee to focus on. So this 3-year plan has been developed since that time. Brady has been working with the committee, and on let me see, January 21st, I guess, that was presented, the final draft, to the Economic Development Committee, and it was approved to be recommended to Council for ratification. So we would be looking for Council to adopt the 3-year Economic Development Committee business plan.
I'll make a motion to approve the 2019-2021 Economic Development 3-year business plan.
Councillor Zimmer, any questions or comments on that?
I thought it was laid out quite
I
well.
thought it was quite well done, yeah.
I'd like to thank Brady for all his hard work. Motion, please.
Moved by Councillor Zimmer to approve the 2019 to 2021 Economic Development 3-year business plan as presented.
All those in favor? Request for direction,
Here we go.
doggy poop bags.
I've been waiting for this one tonight.
I thought a long time about how to reword that.
No, it's doggy poop bags.
That's it.
Doggy poop bags.
Canine fecal bags.
So, oh. Go ahead.
Marion?
So again, this was discussed at the Administrative Services Committee. We do supply these, the bags at parks around town. We actually have 9 locations around town where we have stands that have these bags in them for people to pick up their waste from their dogs. The stands cost anywhere from $125 to $150. We spend about $6,000 a year just on the bags alone. Since the extension of the trail system, we've had some requests into the office about whether or not we're going to put these at those locations as well. So when we discussed it at the administrative services, the recommendation was that we don't have them at other trails around town, just in park locations. So perhaps we just monitor the trails and watch to see if there's a problem with things not being picked up, and determine from there whether it's required. But again, I think we'd like to ask people to be responsible pet owners and pick up after their pets. So that was the recommendation that came from the administrative services.
Discussion?
Well, it sort of makes sense. I have dogs and walk them a lot, and to me, it makes sense to have them at the Kin Trail. Although there's other places to walk dogs in town, the one that's right on 8th, it's a designated, but there's no fencing. I certainly don't take my dogs there and let them off lead because the highway or the road's right there, right? So to me, it would be better used. I think they would really be utilized if they were on the Kin Trail. I don't know how much poop is left around, but we've made comments on Facebook inviting people to make sure they pick up their dog poop, but lots of times people don't because they think it's a pasture. And to me, I think it's another way of saying to the community, welcome, we want you to use it, we want you to be respectful of our community. So that's my opinion on having one at the Kin Trail. And also the water ponds.
Yeah, I agree with the water ponds because we've kind of created those paths and we should be responsible for providing them. But I also think the Kin Trail might have a budget in their Kin account to be putting their own doggy poop bag stands out there.
Well, that would be great.
So I think they'll take care of their own trail. So yeah, I believe it's in the budget for the Kinsmen that they will be providing those kinds of things. I agree, but I walk dogs too, and I walk down 8th, and I pick up if I use my doggy bag, it's nice to have. I am a responsible dog owner. I do take 1 or 2 because I have 2 dogs, but sometimes I need 3 or 4. But it's nice to have them out there. But yeah, I mean, $6,000 a year just in doggy bags is a lot of money.
That's what we discussed at the meeting was, it's $6,000, that's a lot of money, right? You as a dog owner, I mean,
Yeah, get them at the dollar store. They're
you
cheap.
can get them, they got a neat little thing that clips onto your leash, it holds a roll of 50. I get it too, it is nice to have them out there in case somebody does forget a bag or something like that, but it's not my job to make sure. I shouldn't have to pay you to pick up your dog's poop.
I would be on the fence on whether if they were originally installed as a convenience if forgotten versus a supplied need. And I think maybe we have to train our dog owners to be responsible for it and use what they bring for their animal versus depending on the town supplying for their animal.
I wish
Right.
I
a
didn't
dollar
realize it
would
was-
get you 3 or something.
I think it's not a bad idea,
Somehow.
but you probably have to
But
pay
then
to put
that goes from
something on.
125
I know,
to
I was really
150. Yeah.
surprised to see them in our town. I buy my own shit bags, but I think, wow, that's really amazing that this town-based to pick up people's poop, sorry.
Yeah.
And so to me, why not continue it on? If you're already having them in these locations, it just makes common sense. It already seems like it's being practiced. But if the Kins are already gonna put one in there, my vote would be the water park. I love that, and I think that place is gonna be incredible, and I think if we want to help people to be respectful there, it would be a good place to have them. Especially if we're gonna have them at that strange dog park. Take that one out and put it over at the.
Well, that's the
Queens,
other
if
option too.
possible.
Do we relocate some of the 9 that we have located around town to? Is there ones not being used as
Possible,
much?
but, yeah, The locations they're in, I believe they are being
Oh.
used.
Yeah, obviously if they're going through that many bags.
Yeah.
Motion
So what the motion is, the motion?
for direction, what we propose to do for direction.
Again, with more discussion, I guess, I would love to supply them, but the money's gotta come from somewhere, and if we jack the rates up, whatever money we get from people who actually do tag your dogs, are you gonna lose those if you're, cause right now it's 15 for fixed and 40 for intact, so if you try to figure out where to get that
Right.
money from somewhere, let's say you double it up and you go, 20 and 60. Are people gonna
Right.
cheat and just not register their animals, right? We're already getting some, but I just don't know where to get the money from.
Supply a leash clip with every license and remind them to refill them on their own leisure.
I like that one.
As funny as that sounds, that actually sounds like not a bad idea.
You know, here are your town supplied bags for the year, just in case you forget. Other than that, put some in your pocket. Thank you very much.
So what's your opinion?
My opinion is that the program doesn't expand,
Yeah, it's gotta equal the revenue of the
and
licenses.
worst case scenario, you turn around and you can get a Town of Claresholm branded dog poop bag holder for their leash that goes out with every license and with a roll of bags, and there's their forget-me's for the year.
So administration services recommended that we just monitor the situation for now.
I think that would be best.
Can you make that motion?
Sure, I'll make that motion. We just monitor it for now.
Yeah,
We don't need
a
it.
motion.
Okay.
We don't need to do anything.
Just
Okay.
direction.
There we go.
We just needed to understand where council is.
It's a good conversation about poop bags.
I knew it would be. I knew it would be.
Councillor Zimmer?
No, I was just wondering. Wherever we get our Town of Claresholm swag, do they have stuff like that? Can we look into that?
You want them to have an emblem on them?
Yeah,
You want the logo on them?
yeah.
On the holder.
No, they want
On the
Not the
holder,
bags.
not the bags,
Oh.
just the holder
Oh,
that you get with your dog.
oh, I see.
And I want the logo.
Yeah, don't-
We should provide it at licensing.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll look at that.
Make sure the logo goes inside the bag so when you pick it up and turn it out, the logo's.
Just on the clip, I actually looked
Just the
for
clip.
some you can actually get.
Get your own
The
bags.
leash clips.
Makes sense.
Cool.
I didn't think
It's
it was
interesting
proper
conversations
advertising
here,
for the
Council.
restaurant.
Yeah.
Information brief, Claresholm Minor Hockey CEIP application. Marion?
So, again, this is just for council information. Minor Hockey was notified that they have been successful in their application for the $125,000 CFEP grant for the arena renovations for the floor and boards. So that was really good news.
Mm-hmm. That's great.
Thank you to Claresholm Minor Hockey
Yeah.
for all our hard work.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Information brief, swimming pool operating agreement. Marion?
All right, so we've been investigating the possibility of putting the rope swing back in at the pool, and that has actually triggered a review by Alberta Health Services to look at the agreement as they considered the risks that might be associated with that. And the original agreement was entered into in 1995, and so it was with the province of Alberta and the town of Claresholm. That property has since been transferred to Alberta Health Services, but we can't find any record that the assignment of the agreement was done at the same time. There was a transfer of ownership, but not a transfer of the agreement. So I've been working with Alberta Health Services lawyer on drafting a new agreement, a new revised agreement, updated agreement. And so I just wanted to inform council that that was in progress, and I will be bringing forward a draft agreement once we've kind of come to the terms of what that would look like.
Okay. Thank you.
Information, Alberta Human Rights Complaint. Marion?
So in January of 2018, a complaint was filed against the town of Claresholm with the Alberta Human Rights Commission. And I received a notification on January 14th stating that the complaint has been dismissed as they've determined that there is no reasonable basis to proceed with that claim.
Excellent.
Thank you.
More good news.
Information
Thank you, Mary.
brief. Council resolution status. Oh, CA report, sorry. Everybody have a chance to read through it?
Yeah.
Again, nicely done.
Yeah.
Easy
Good
to
reports,
read.
eh?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
easy
really
to
good
read and
reports.
it just catches everything, so I thought it was,
To this, yeah, I thank the staff for doing that
Yeah.
monthly for you because it really does keep council up to date on
It does.
what's happening.
I quite enjoy how it is.
so, now is this information available to everybody,
Yes.
right?
Mhm.
Cause this little bylaw infractions of the speed radar is quite,
Pretty interesting,
um,
hey? Ooh.
wow. 163 kilometers an hour?
That was crazy.
I'm like, yeah, so it was very, wow, that's a lot of, we get a lot of information from that little box, apparently.
Information brief, council resolution status. Any questions, discussion on that? Can I have a motion for adoption of information items?
I'll make a motion to adopt the information as presented.
Motion, please.
Moved by Councillor Zimmer to accept the information items as presented.
All those in favor? Can I get a motion to go in camera, please?
I'll make that motion.
Councillor Cutler. Motion?
Moved by Councillor Cutler to go in camera at 7:38 p.m.
All those in favor? Camera? Can we have a motion to come out of in camera, please?
I'll make a motion to come out of in camera.
Councillor Zimmer. Motion, please.
Somebody needs to make it though.
Councillor
Oh,
Zimmer.
Councillor Zimmer's
He's
doing-
asking you to read it.
Oh, moved by Councillor Zimmer to cut him out of in camera at 7:45 p.m.
All those in favor? Motion to accept,
You have to put on the camera.
appoint Barry Pratt to the library board. Motion, please. Mike,
Moved by Councillor Cutler to appoint Barry Pratt to the Claresholm Library Board.
all those in favor? Motion to adjourn, Councillor Carlson. Motion, please.
Moved by Councillor Carlson that the meeting adjourn at 7:46 p.m.
All those in favor?
Opposed?
You boys are hilarious.
Good job, Deputy Mayor Schlossberger.